everybody, welcome to You Bet Your A Winner. This is a playoff show focused on the divisional round, helping you with all kinds of data and information to help support your picks, your wagering, whatever you're doing with the NFL. And what we do is we do it in a question-style format with all kinds of, so you can play along, right? You can play along with all kinds of questions around spreads, OUs, favorites, dogs, away, home teams. And then I know a lot of you like to play in-game or live stuff. So we've got stuff on halftime scores, who scores first, and how things go the rest of the way. Hey, let's get right into this. You're going to like the show. And at the end, I'll give you specific divisional round information as well as my picks. Fun. All right, here we go. Very first question. Let's get into it. Key metrics question. I give them all kinds of great labels too. Ready? All of our data goes back to 2007. All these questions are going to be focused on the playoffs. Here we go. Since 2007, which of the following is the best indicator a team won a playoff game? And this question does not include Super Bowls because that's totally different. We're going to show you that in a second. So which of the following is the best indicator a team won a playoff game? Is it A, the team had more total yards in the game? B, team had more rushing yards in the game? C, the team had more passing yards in the game? D, the team had more time of possession? Or E, the team had less penalty yards? What's your choice? You got it? Here we go. The correct answer is B. The team had more rushing yards in the game. All right, real quick, take a look at this. Here's your info data. You can see the team had more rushing yards, won nearly 75% of the games, followed by time of possession, and you can see the others there. Let's go take a look at the Super Bowl now because it's entirely different. So I've already given you an indicator that B is not going to be the answer here. Since 2007, which of the following is the best indicator a team won a Super Bowl? It's your same choices, but we've narrowed it because B is not the right answer. I'm going to tell you. Got your answer? Here we go. The correct answer is more time of possession. Take a look at how the Super Bowl changes. Team with more time of possession in the Super Bowl wins 87% of the time. And second is less penalty yards. You can see the yardage statistics are basically 50-50. All right, here we go on to the next question. This one's a score first question around favorites. Since 2007, we've had 64 divisional round playoff games. The favorite has scored first in the game 41 times. How many games of the 41 did the favorite go on to win? So in other words, the favorite scores first. They've done it 41 times. How many of those games do they end up winning? Is it A, 33, B, 28, C, 25, D, 20, or E, 15? Correct answer is B, 28. All right, real fast bonus question here. Same question basically, but now the underdog has scored first in the game 23 times. The question though is, how many games of those 23 did the favorite come back and win? Okay, so this time the dog has scored first 23 times, but how many of those games did the favorite come back and win? Is it A, 20, B, 17, C, 13, D, 10, or E, 5 only? The correct answer is C, 13, 57% of the time. So take a look at this. When favorites score first, they go on to win 68% of the time. When the dog scores first, the favorite only wins 56% of the time. So you can see there's all divisional games straight up. Favorites are 41 and 23. They win 64%. Historically, favorites win 66%. So you can see our favorites do just slightly worse in divisional round games. Let's move on to the next question here. It's score first question. Since 2007, we've had a total of 164 playoff games. The team which scored first has only lost 69 of these games straight up. Okay? They've only lost 69 of these games straight up. The question is, how many times has the team which scored first lost against the spread? Okay? Team that scored first, how many times they lose against the spread? Is it A, 92, B, 82, C, 75, D, 69, or E, 62? So straight up that team lost 69 times. How many times they end up losing against the spread? Correct answer is D, 69 times. Take a look. Team that scores first is 95 and 69 straight up. They're 91 and 69 with 4 pushes against the spread. So the team that scores first, there's your indicator right there on how often they're going to win or lose. Interesting, right? All right, here we go. Halftime lead question. We got a halftime lead question for you. All playoff games. This is all playoff games. Since 2007, we've had 164 total playoff games. What percentage of those games has the team leading at halftime gone on to win the game? Is it A, 76, B, 69, C, 62, D, 55, or E, 48. So the team leading at halftime, what percentage have they gone on to win the game? The correct answer is A, 76% of the time, all right? Take a look. Teams leading at halftime win the game straight up. They're 117-37. And against the spread, 111-39, basically the same. So once again, we're seeing here, if you're leading at halftime, chances are you got a 74% chance you're gonna win against the spread as well. Dig it? We've had 12 halftime ties. 2 were in Super Bowl games. In the Super Bowl games, both favorites went on to win those with the halftime ties. As for the other playoff games, home teams were 5-5. Overall, favorites went on 8-4 to win. Another question for you, home favorites question in divisional games. Since 2007, we've had 64 divisional playoff games. 26 home favorites have won the game and covered the spread. What percentage of those games also went over the total? So you got a home favorite, wins, covers. How many of those games went over the total? Is it A, 80%, B, 68%, C, 52%, D, 44%, or E, 37% of those games? Got your answer? Correct answer is 80%. 80%. Real quick, we'll get back to this in a second. Of the remaining 38 games won and covered by either home dogs, or away favorites. So it's all the other games except your home favorites, right? What percentage of these games also went over the total? Is it A, 80%, B, 68, C, 52, D, 44, or E, 37? Correct answer is 37% only. All right, we got one more question here, and then we'll get to the details of this, all right? Of all playoff games, of all 164 playoff games, how many away favorites have won the game, covered the spread, and the game went over the total? Got it? Is it A, 26, B, 19, C, 11, D, 7, or E, 0? The correct answer is E, 0. Now, check all this out. Check all this out. We'll go back to divisional playoff games. You can see here. When the home favorite wins the game and covers the spread, overs are 21-5. That's 80% of the time. So think about it. If you're thinking of doing a parlay, if you like the home favorite to win and cover, and you're going to parlay, you probably want to put the over with it because 80% of the time that's hitting. Know what I'm saying? On the other side, all other results, home dogs, away favorites, away dogs combined, when they win the game and cover the spread, overs are only 14-24, 36% of the time. So about 63% of the time, those games are going under. In all playoff games, home favorites win the game and cover the spread. Overs are 44-20, so still 68% of the time. Just divisional round is a lot better. Now, here's the one. Away favorites win the game and they cover the spread. And the game goes over 0-9. All 9 went under. Now, including last weekend, Dallas was an away favorite. They won the game, covered the spread, 4 missed extra points, and it goes under. So some mystical weird thing out there is keeping this metric undefeated to the under. That makes it 10 unders now and no overs. Away favorite wins the game, covers the spread, it's going under. Got it? We call it an upset when a dog getting 6 points or more wins the game straight up. Now, some historical information. Teams favored by 6+ points against the spread win and cover in all games 48.9% of the time. In all playoff games, 48% of the time. In divisional playoff games, 47.2% of the time. Basically, they're all right around 47, 48%, right? Now, here's a weird question, but check this out. In the divisional round, we've had 10 playoff games with spreads between 8 and 9.5 points. That's just like Kansas City this week against Jacksonville. How many games did the favorite cover of those 10? Ready? Is it A, 9, B, 7, C, 5, D, 3, or E, 1? Correct answer is E, 1. I want you to look at this. Look how weird this is. It's just a weird anomaly. So, favorites giving 6 to 6.5 points against spread, they're 4-1. Favorites given 7 to 7.5, they're 6-4. Favorites giving 10 or more points, they're 6-5. But for some crazy reason, favorites given between 8 and 9.5 points, they're 1-9 against the spread. This is just a weird anomaly thing, right? There's no scientific reason why. But I pointed out because this weekend, Kansas City is given either 8.5 or 9. It's swinging both ways. against Jacksonville this weekend, they fit right in that category. It's strange, but true. Ready? Our next question, halftime leads. Halftime leads, here we go. Since 2007, we've had 180 playoff games, including Super Bowls. In 61 of those, the favorite has not only been winning, they've also been covering the spread by halftime. Okay, so sometimes the favorite is only giving 2 or 3 points, and they're winning and covering at halftime. But it's all games. How many of those 61 games did the favorite go on to win and cover the spread? Is it A, 51, B, 46, C, 41, D, 36, or E, 30? You can see the associated percentages there. Correct answer is B, 46, 75% of the time. If the favorite is covering the spread at halftime, 75% of the time, they go on and win and cover the game overall, okay? Next question, here we go. Of those same 61 games that the favorites were covering at halftime, how many games did they end up losing straight up? Is it A, 14, B, 10, C, 7, D, 4, or E, 0? Got your answer? Correct answer is D, 4. They've lost 4 times straight up when winning and covering at halftime, all right? We're going to get into this a little bit more in a second. Now, in divisional round games only, if the dog leads at halftime, what percentage of those games do they cover the spread? In divisional round games only, if the dog is winning at halftime, what percentage of those games do they go and cover the spread? Is it A, 95, B, 85, C, 75, D, 65, or E, 55? Correct answer is A, 95% of the time. In divisional round games, if the dog is leading at halftime, they cover the spread 95% of the time. Check this out. Here's your information. Halftime leads. If the favorite leads at halftime in all games, they win straight up 83% of the time. If the favorite leads at half, they win against the spread 65% of the time. If the favorite leads at halftime and is covering the spread at halftime, they win straight up 94% of the time. If the favorite leads at halftime and is covering the spread at halftime, that's 75%. Now, in divisional games only, when the dog leads at halftime, they win the game straight up 70% of the time. And against the spread, you can see there, they're 19-1. 19-1. Dogs lead at halftime, they cover the spread 19 out of 20 times, 95% of the time. That's interesting to know, right? That's good stuff. All right, here we go. Some information on rematches, okay? The team winning the regular season game wins the playoff rematch 65% of the time, and they're 52% against the spread. Kansas City beat Jacksonville 27-17 this year, so their rematch is coming up here. Now I have another one. I know Philly and the Giants also played the season, but here, check this out. Teams that win on the road by 3 scores or more, that's 17 points or higher, they win 73% of the playoff games, and 57% of those against the spread. Philly beat the Giants at New York 48-22, so that's by 26 points. It was away. So 73% of the playoff games, they win. 57% of the time, they cover. Also, here's another trend on rematches. If a team sweeps the season series, you know they talk about how you can't beat a team 3 times in one season. That's so not true in the NFL. Okay, listen to this. If a team sweeps the season series, which Philadelphia did to the Giants, and they're at home in the playoff game, they're 12-6 in those playoff games. 67% winners, all right? Just be aware of that. All right, some other quick information for you on the divisional round. Favorites straight up. You can see there overall 64% of the time. Last 5 years, 65% of the time. Favorites against the spread in the divisional round. Only 43.5% of the time do they cover, but in the last 5 years it's been 50-50, so they're doing a little bit better the last 5 years. Home teams straight up overall 66%. Last 5 years actually winning 70% of the time. Home teams against the spread, you can see there. And then our over-under in divisional round games, overall, over hits 55% of the time. The last 5 years, it's been 50-50. Here's some other information on divisional games. Usually they're a little higher scoring than wild card round, but our wild card round this year was very high scoring. Those games averaged like 55 points a game, which is way higher than usual. But anyways, when we have an OU between 43 and 51 in divisional games, it almost always goes 2 overs and 1 under. Last year, though, it went 1 and 2. So just be aware of that. But we have 3 games within that range this weekend. 2 should go over, 1 should go under. That's been the historical trend. In upsets, we should see one upset each year. Now, last year we had 3 upsets, okay? 3 of the dogs won the 4 games, so be aware of that. But normally we see 3 favorites, 1 dog. Now, teams that rush more win 75% of the games in playoff games normally. Last year, those teams went 4-0. So, it's not necessarily the team that rushes better offensively. It's also a combination of, does your defense stop the run? So you want to take a look at which defenses can stop the run, and also you can run a little better than the other team. Because again, they win 75% of playoff games, and last year they went 4-0 in the divisional round, right? Here's the current betting trends of the games. You can see there, all of them are over. The betting public loves the over, and they're slamming the over on all 4 games. I just talked about how that's probably not going to happen. We should see at least 1 under. Now, I know last week, wild card games go under 63% of the time, and last week they went 5-1 to the over, so it bucked the normal trends. So it's not to say it couldn't happen in the divisional round as well, but we should see at least 1 under. So which one of these games do you think it will be? In the meantime, on the side, you can see we have 2 favorites, Kansas City and San Francisco. And then the reason you got a lot of bettors going on the dogs and the Giants in Cincinnati, 2 reasons. Number 1, Cincinnati, they are 20-5 against the spread in the last 25. That's almost unprecedented. And the Giants were the number 1 team against the spread this year at 14-4, so that's probably why our bettors are leaning in those directions, as am I. So for me and my picks right now, I like the Chiefs. I could tell you this, in playoff games, when the Chiefs win, in the last 5 years, when the Chiefs win a playoff game, they're 5-1 to the over. When they win those games, 5-1 to the over, I'm taking the Jags and the points and the over. We talked about this. Teams in that 8 to 9.5 range, they're 1-9 against the spread in divisional games. I'm going to go with that trend. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to take the over, take the Chiefs to win the game. My favorite play is the San Francisco over. Last few weeks, San Francisco's offense has just been running up. I'm like, they could score 40 every week the way they're playing. I get it, Brock Purdy's a rookie. At some point, nerves may hit him. He may throw some picks, but they have so many weapons on offense. I can't imagine them not scoring, and I do not believe they will shut Dallas down. Dallas has a good offense. They're going to score some points. I like the San Francisco over. I like the San Francisco team total over. I also like San Francisco to cover and win this game. I like the Giants to cover that 7.5. Here's what I do like, though. Philadelphia is the best team all year long in the first quarter and the first half. Me, I'm probably going to take Philadelphia first quarter, Philadelphia first half, but I'm going to take the Giants and the 7.5 for the game. This game, I'm probably going to go under, though. I think that, I know the first game was 48-22, and Philly got the over by themselves. I think this game will be a little tighter. I don't think Hurts is fully healthy. I think Philly jumps out to a lead, wins the game, hangs on, Giants backdoor, it goes under. We're going to have 1 under this weekend. And the Cincinnati-Buffalo game, I like Cincinnati to cover. I think Cincinnati is a great shot to win straight up. Buffalo is my pick to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you can trust them. So I kind of like Cincinnati to cover at least, probably win the game. If I was going to pick another under, it would probably be this game. But I have a feeling that Cincinnati, they score 31 points a game against teams that aren't in the AFC North. They only scored 21.5 against the AFC North. Outside the AFC North, 31.5. I think this game probably ends up going over. I like Cincinnati. Those are my picks. We hope you come back, subscribe, like, come see more of our videos. Really appreciate you being here. Once again, this has been You Bet You're a Winner.